Lisa, first, just for the listeners out there, maybe give a little bit of the background of the show you do. I know you bill it as bringing women over to the lighter side of sports and men over to the lighter side of women, which I could use a lot of help with that.
Hey, listen, couldn't we all? Even women could use a little help. They're getting to figure out how to deal with their girlfriends, wives, mothers, sisters. Well, what I want to do about 4 years ago was kind of take the sports conversations that happen all week long, all day long, up and down the dial, including my home station, and take the kind of the essence out of it and talk about it on Saturday and Sundays. And I open it up as a call-in show, and I bring in some guests who know a heck of a lot more about me, because I've always felt that the definition of a smart person is somebody who surrounds themselves with smarter people. And I try to do that and kind of ask the questions that people say, oh, I'm going to sound so foolish if I ask that question, but you're not. And it would make, because I have that question too. I did not grow up in a sports family. I'm an only child from Virginia. My father was a dentist, and when he wasn't yanking people's teeth, he was fishing. And my mom was Jim Cleaver. You wake up in the morning, you go off to school, and she's already asking you what you want for dinner. Right. So, that was the focus. And I really didn't get into sports until I was at Boston University, and I was in the School of Management, and I did one of my independent studies as a senior in sports marketing, and I've just always found it fascinating. But my gosh, how many times can we X and O and cheat the dry erase board and move our arrows so many times? The bottom line is, what's the essence? What is, when you're reading a book, what's the author's purpose? You've got 575 pages of a book. What's your point? So what I try to do is get to that point every weekend, and at the same time, make women feel that they're not a golf widow or a football widow, or they're sitting there afraid or intimidated to ask the question. And at the same time, guys can also feel that it's something that they can listen to together. It's like, see, honey, this is it, and then she can say, oh, no, honey. You see what she just said? So it's kind of a using sports as the universal language, because I think that it touches every one of us, whether you're in the business that you're in, or whether you're a soccer mom, or whether you're, watching sports on TV. There isn't a person on the planet, I don't think, that doesn't have some element of sport in their life, and that's what Live with Lisa is all about.
And don't you think, too, Lisa, especially in this day and age with the world as wacky as it is, that sports really do play a huge role in letting us escape for whatever moment of time that may be?
Absolutely, for sure. You hit the nail on the head. The only thing that I wish we could do more of is really get back to the essence of sport. And stop getting involved in, I know you have to do the contract negotiations, but, it's millionaire fighting over millionaire. Yep. And this one elbowed this one, and this one's got a bounty hunt on this one's ACL, and booing Tebow walking in a Yankee Stadium. I mean, come on, people, shut up. Let's talk sports. Let's go back to 1959. Let's go back and talk to Jackie Robinson and Jesse Owens and Harry Carey and all the people that really made sports exciting. And I think in our very litigious society and in our very aggressive competitive society that sometimes, no matter what the sport is, we lose the essence of what that sport is actually about. And it's entertainment. And sometimes we lose sight of that.
And also, too, Lisa, I think you make a great point that it almost seems today that the results of the games, the outcome of the games, matter less than who's fighting with who and who's holding out for more dollar bills. And nobody loves the sport for the sport anymore. It's all the other BS that's involved with it.
Exactly. I mean, if you take a look at basketball and the craziness that's going on in Miami, that I think it's Dwight Howard is, not going to play because, well, yeah, he's probably injured, and I think I saw something today that he was going to have back surgery, so he's done. But, it's the whole thing of, well, I'm going to sit out because I hate the coach, and I'm just going to sit on the bench. Yep. Or I want to be paid to represent my country at the Olympics. Really? Why don't you talk to the people who were honored to be tapped, back in the 60s and the 70s. Go talk to the 17 and 18-year-olds down here in Colorado Springs, which is about an hour south of me, who are breaking a sweat to just be able to make the Olympic team. And they have no glossy eyes. They have no rose-colored glasses. They just want to represent America at the Olympics. And it's very frustrating to me, and I think it sends a really questionable message to our kids. You know, whether it's the $150 sneakers, or I want to be paid to represent my country, or I'm not going to renew my contract unless you fire Mike D'Antoni, which is exactly what happened with the New York Knicks. Yep. And, Carmelo Anthony had his little say, and boom, before you knew it, Mike D'Antoni was gone. I mean, are the monkeys running the jungle? Or are the animals running the zoo?
Exactly. And Lisa, I was very fortunate. I had a cousin who played at the Air Force Academy, and I got to get out there and see some games, and it was so nice. Those kids have such an enjoyment for the game because they understand the back end of their commitment is very, very serious, and they hold the game in a very high regard because they realize what a privilege it is.
It is a privilege. And, I had an interesting guy who I talked to the other day. As a matter of fact, it will be a featured segment tomorrow morning. And his name is Josh Luke. And he was a corrupt sports agent who came clean. This is with respect to college football, because we were talking about the draft coming up this week. And these college kids, they are looking to their agent. They're looking to their recruiter. They are as green can be. And it's a shame, as he had said in our segment, how they hang on your every word, and you can mold them and make them believe anything you want them to believe. And he wrote this book called A Legal Procedure about the dirty business of being a sports agent in college football. And so, before you get into the pro level, that's why I think maybe college football and college sports. I know we've got a big national lacrosse tournament coming here with Duke and Penn and UVA and University of Denver. That is exciting. That is pure. There's no hidden agenda. Nobody's out to take out somebody's elbow.
No corporate sponsorship.
I'm sorry?
No corporate sponsorship.
No corporate sponsorship. Just come out and you pay your $25 and it gets you into the tournament all weekend long. My God, that is sports.
We are talking with Lisa Belkov-Snyder, the host of Live with Lisa, and you can check that out at livewithlisa1510.com. And Lisa is based out of Denver. Lisa, we are, of course, huge Browns fans here, and we are wondering what is going to happen in 6 days with the Browns' number 4 pick. What is your feel for that?
Well, we obviously know 1 and 2 are gone.
Right.
Everybody wants to obviously have a quarterback, but there's not too much after, RG3 and Andrew Luck. There isn't much out there. I'm not sure what the Browns need, but I know that they need something.
That's probably the best way to put it.
You don't get to have the 4th pick in the draft because you were great. And, I can also say that with the Denver Broncos a couple years ago. This year we're the number 25 pick. A year or two ago, I think last year we were the number 2 pick. So I'd like to see everybody do something that John Elway said, which is to not find somebody who's got great combine scores or who really impressed out on the green, but who can be an impactful player, not just on the field, but also in the locker room. Mm-hmm. Who can make the team feel good, get excited, stay motivated. I don't know that much about the Browns, but I could probably say for sure that kind of generality is what every team could use, except for maybe the Patriots.
Right, exactly.
They just need somebody who can catch.
Yeah, that would help them for sure. Like they need more help. Browns fans, we haven't scored a touchdown in 4 seasons, and Brady's thrown for 20 a game. It's like, wow. Hey, Lisa, go ahead, dear. Go ahead.
No. You're up.
Tim Tebow. What is, first of all, I find it absolutely ridiculous. We finally get an athlete who is not full of himself. He's not looking to make his money and get out. He's a great role model for children. He's very confident in his faith, and he has no problem speaking that. and the general public, it seems, just doesn't want anything to do with him.
Well, I think that that's a darn shame.
Isn't that though?
Again, getting back to the essence of sport and role models. Role models are not about the best shoe, the new perfume, cologne, the biggest dunk, bending the rim when you go up for your shot. Whether, yes, the question was Tim Tebow's spiral was a little confusing. You weren't quite sure where it might go.
Mm-hmm.
His footwork needed some work. And quite frankly, that was what was supposed to be worked on with him during the offseason. That's what the Denver Broncos fans were promised. And then you have this situation come up with Peyton Manning, which is almost, if you're a Broncos fan, which I am, it's manna from heaven. It's just the biggest day of your life. But then it almost seems to undo 50% of everything you just did, or 50% of 100% of what you just did by taking Tebow out of the equation. He's going to go somewhere else. And he's going to mentor somebody else. I don't think he would start at any other team. I didn't think he would start with Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's going to be the starter.
Mm-hmm.
But for goodness sake, why can't he be mentored under the best quarterback in the NFL?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you have to ship him out? And the answer that I said, and women do this a lot, just FYI. We ask you a question, but then we'll answer it. If we want your opinion, we'll give it to you. But my answer is that he is the redheaded stepchild that was not picked by John Fox, that was not picked by John Elway. He was a Josh McDaniels pick. Josh McDaniels drove the Broncos into a brick wall, and then he's gone. And the best thing he ever did, maybe the only thing good that he ever did, was draft Tim Tebow. And before Tim Tebow stepped on the field this past season, the Broncos were 1-4. He stepped in, man, we are in the second round of the playoffs, and you're going to trade this guy away because of an ego situation, that he wasn't your pick, that he wasn't selected by you. And, you're going to have Peyton Manning, who I still feel, I haven't spoken to his orthopedic surgeon, but I still feel that anybody in that situation is questionable. Yes, you may have been cleared health-wise, but there are no guarantees. And so under Peyton Manning, you'll have three relatively, not green quarterbacks, because Haney certainly isn't green, but you'll have three guys that have never been together. It's one thing to bring in a new quarterback like Peyton Manning, who is just going to, fire up the locker room and make things very exciting, and people are going to listen to him, and it's not going to be a circus in Denver anymore. We are back to football business. But God forbid. I was that Plan B question that shut the press conference down. And, what is the Plan B? If Peyton Manning gets hurt, are we relying on Haney? Are we going to rely on a draft pick in the second round to the quarterback? I just don't get it. I really don't get it.
Yeah,
and I think for those who are either offended or they're a little marred by Tim Tebow's enthusiasm, too bad. Listen, I'm a Jewish girl raised in the South, went to New York, went to Boston University. I absolutely love everything that Tim Tebow stands for. He does not offend me. He does not make me question, when I do this, all the cameras will, when I'm down on my knee praying or something. The guys do it at the Grammys. The guys do, the rappers do it. They go, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Thanks my grandmother who's up in heaven who raised me. If they can do it and it's okay, why not a good, solid, athletic citizen who, by the way, happens to be a terrific athlete?
And the sad part about it is Tebow, if they'd have said, look, we need you to understudy Peyton Manning, he'd have been the type of player, at least it strikes me, Lisa, I've never had a conversation with him, but he'd have been like, yeah, that's great.
110%.
Listen, I'd much rather work with Peyton Manning than Rex Ryan any day.
Hey, Lisa, we want to thank you so very much, dear, and like we said, it is Live with Lisa, and you can check that out at livewithlisa1510.com, weekend mornings, 9 a.m. Mountain Standard, so that would make it 7 a.m. here on the East Coast. Thank you so much, dear. We appreciate it.
Like 11 a.m. on the East Coast.
Yeah, 11 a.m. That's right. You
that's
guys
much
are
better for me.
Yeah, that's easier that way. But
you're already on your second cup of coffee by then.
Maybe the third.
Maybe the third.
Hey, thank you.
All right, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you,
You
Lisa.
are welcome.